Greetings, friends. Gemini Brett here with a Stellarium Planetarium software instructional video for Kepler College Naked Eye Astronomy 1, a course that launched yesterday. I'm going to put this on my YouTube because it's just easy to share from there. So welcome anyone who's not in the course who wants to have a view, that's fine. Our goal here is to be able to take a chart like this, right? A location, a date and time, and create something similar in Stellarium software. So this is the downloadable version, which is free, and it's amazing, and it's huge, and it does a lot more than the mobile version can, but we are going to play with the mobile version today. So let me take you to a very special place called the World Wide Web. Stellarium.org is Stellarium's homepage, and here you can download the open source, in other words free, full version of Stellarium for Mac or PC or Linux here. But again, we're going to play with Stellarium Web today, which has its own direct URL called stellarium-web.org. Just let them know where I am. All right, so we come in looking north. Let me grab a pointer here. This is Polaris. This is North Star, and I can tell because this is the Big Dipper, and these two stars, the end stars of the cups, pointer stars, point to Polaris, which is right at the North Celestial Pole. That's not going to show me, but this one will. Maybe I'll get back to those in a bit. But I'm going to turn around. I'm just clicking and dragging here. I want to look south because here in the Northern Hemisphere, at least in all locations like the Bay Area of California where I currently stand, the ecliptic, the path of the sun, and for the most part the planets, the zodiac, lives in the southern sky. And I want to look at those wanderers, those planets. I'm noticing something strange. It shows me Jupiter setting, and Jupiter's up there. So this is not the moment now. I'm seeing time here. And that's true. It is about 2016. I see that's moving real time. Maybe I need these view settings here. No, that's view settings. I can see I can take the Milky Way in and out. I'm not sure what DSS is, which means I must not want it. I would like to see a meridian line, the local north-south great circle, which divides the eastern sky that goes up from the western sky, which goes down. And I'm seeing I can put on the ecliptic as well. I wouldn't call it a line because it's a curve. It's the plane of the Earth-Sun relationship, Earth's orbital plane about the sun, or from Earth's point of view, the path that the sun takes day by day through our sky. And for the most part, the planets travel on that plane, that curve too. You can see them here like Jupiter, Moon, Uranus, Mars, right? So they're not confined to the ecliptic, but they travel rather close. For the most part, the ecliptic is the plane of our solar system. Okay, so what's going on here? Maybe I need this menu. No, that just put this menu away. Planets tonight. Oh, that's cool. Shows me planet rising and setting time. Fun. Everything else over here doesn't seem like I would need. Oh, I do not live near Reno County. Okay, we see an ad for the Stellarium Mobile. I'll make an instructional video for that too. For now, I don't need any of that stuff. I'm going to put it away. See a search bar, that's great. But this near Reno County is what I need to deal with. Use auto location. I do not live in the middle of a lake in Wichita, Kansas. Okay, maybe I've got some kind of super secret VPN thing happening. I don't know. I better turn that off. And maybe I could just drag this to my home. Or it sure seems like I could type Richmond, California. And use this location. Great, now we're in Richmond, and this makes sense. Jupiter's like a lot higher above the ground than this, at least it would seem. But you know, if I turn west, which is just clicking and dragging, and zoom in, then yes, this makes sense, right? I'll never see this much ecliptic in the sky at once unless I grow, you know, fish or bug eyes. I can't see south and east and west at the same time, you know. But the astronomy software lets us see more than we can as a human being. It even lets us take the ground away, the atmosphere away, so we can see beneath the ground and the stars by day. And you know what? So do our astrology charts, right? Okay, so here's your assignment if you want to play along. Assignment number 1, create your birth chart in Stellarium. So I'm going to create this chart right here, Richmond, California, 3 p.m., January 25th, 2023. So I'm in Richmond, California. Let's open this thing up. I see that the clock's running and it's got real time right now. So I'm going to pause that. And then I just need to go to yesterday, clicking up and down. I will say this is my second attempt at this video. The first one I did on Google Chrome browser, and for some reason it wasn't letting me change the time. So you might have that problem too. I found often with this software, sometimes it needs a good restart. And you know, if one browser's not working, try another one. Okay. So here I go, January 25th, 2023. The time was 3 p.m. or 1500. It's not letting me type in there, which the downloadable version certainly does, but I can click back to, yeah, I can't type in there. So I'm going to click a bunch of times. And I want that to say 0. So that to say 15. Okay, cool. So this is the scene. Let's confirm it is true. The meridian, again, it's the local north-south great circle. Any great circle divides a sphere in half. The meridian divides the eastern side of the sky, which goes up, from the western side, which goes down. And where the ecliptic, the path of the sun, the plane of the solar system, intersects the meridian above ground is the meridian midheaven, which we see on the chart here at 1634 Pisces. Importantly, I see that the moon and Jupiter are to the left of the meridian. That means to the east. And I see that the sun is to the right, and that means to the west. The sun's about to go down. There you go. I can even see Mercury, Venus, right? I couldn't see them with my naked eye, but Stellarium's letting us see a little more than we could. So this definitely looks like the right moment. We've achieved our goal. Great. I'm going to show you now just these simple menu buttons down here. And then I'll speak about one of your scavenger hunt assignments and how we could use Stellarium software to follow along. But of course, get away from the small screen, engage with the big screen of the living sky if clouds allow to do your scavenger hunt exercises. That's where you're going to learn this information and embody it and integrate it. Okay, so you see a few things that are lit up here. Okay, so that means they are on. Like this one says atmosphere. If I click that and take it away, now suddenly the stars by day, including the Milky Way. Amazing, right? So now I can see these planets and other things. Here we see that the landscape is currently turned on. So if I click that, now I can look beneath the ground. So the shooting star. It looks like we have this kind of like misty line representing the horizon. All right, great. So we can see what's above ground and below. This is the ascendant, which is where the ecliptic intersects the eastern horizon. This is the descendant, where the ecliptic intersects the western horizon. All right, all well and good. There's another thing on here, which is deep sky objects. I actually don't really want that turned on. I mean, I think they're wonderful. I think they're incredible to consider what they might mean astrologically. How do we bring that in? I think some great researchers are doing some of that work right now. I'll tell you, unless I've got a telescope, there's very few of these things I can see in the sky with my naked eye. I can certainly see the Orion Nebula, Pleiades. Is that Andromeda? Yeah, but you know, I don't need those things circled. Okay, so now it looks like all these menus are off. Again, this is me turning the ground on and off. I think this is an actual place in France where Stellarium was originally designed. But let's start from this one on the left. So constellations, right? You can turn the constellation lines on and off, connect the dots, and we can see that they're labeled as well, right? Let's bring the ground back in, and then we will see that at this time, just the foot of the twins was on the rise here, okay? So you're seeing as I click around, like here's Bellatrix, Orion's shoulder. I'm getting some information about Bellatrix, the magnitude, which speaks about its brightness, different names and classifications. 252 light years away, its spectral type, where it is in the sky, and unfortunately, this mobile version does not give longitude. That's one reason why getting to know the downloadable version is a good thing for astrologers to do. So while right ascension and declination are wonderful coordinate axes and provide some amazing astronomical information, as does azimuth, which is like east and south, like compass ticks around and around, and altitude up and down. Ecliptic coordinates like celestial longitude are going to tell me where the sun is in the tropical zodiac, for example, and that's something that I would like to have. I do appreciate that this tells me, like if I click on Mars, when Mars is rising and setting. That is wonderful. I doubt that here in this mobile version it's going to let me turn on ecliptic coordinates. Unfortunate. Okay, but we can still do some good work here. So there's the constellation menu. They're going on and off. This is going to turn on constellation art, right? So if you don't know, this is the Hyades, the face of the bull, and the bull's horns, El Nath and El Hekka. Turn on the art and it's a little easier to see. The Pleiades rest on the bull's back and Perseus stands there and whatnot. All right. We've seen that this atmosphere, it's daytime, so it's gonna right blind us from seeing the stars behind the sun's bright beam. So it's wonderful that we can take that out in these softwares and play. Here we're seeing a couple different grids. The azimuthal grid, or azimuth, is like your local dome of the heavens, right? You go outside, it basically feels like you're inside a hemisphere of the sky, right? Zenith is directly above your head. That's going to be in the center of this circle here, or the east-west great circle. That's called the prime vertical. In the north-south great circle, the meridian intersect directly above our head. Zenith, okay? And I don't know, I mean, are they marked? Yeah, this is 20 degrees, 40 degrees, 60 degrees, 80 degrees altitude, because the convention is that zenith is 90 degrees altitude, the horizon is 0 degrees altitude, and then negative altitudes take us beneath the ground all the way to negative 90 degrees, which is the nadir down here beneath our feet. That's pretty cool that when I looked down, I just clicked and dragged, I can actually see through the ground and see some stars and constellations down there. Of course, we saw that we could take that landscape away and get a view of the down below in this current moment of time. All right. So there's the azimuthal grid. Azimuth is like compass ticks. East is an azimuth, specifically 90 degrees azimuth, which is maybe labeled here somewhere along the ground. It is not. We see altitude labels here. Yeah, this one says 345. The rest of them do not seem to be labeled. Maybe if I zoom in. No. Okay. But you know, I mean, this is kind of cool to like get that kind of spherical feeling inside the big top vibe that we do have when we go outside. All right. So next I'm going to turn that grid off. Here's the equatorial grid. And the equatorial grid is centered on the celestial equator, which is Earth's equator projected into space. The Earth's equator is our axis of rotation or daily motion. All this will be covered in the class, but I'll just say the celestial equator always moves through the cardinal directions east and west. Okay, so this is the equator. And then these will be these northern lines of declination. That's north or south of the equator. They will probably be labeled as positive. Yeah, here's like positive 40 declination. And then this will be like negative 20 declination. I'm just not seeing those labels. But I believe this will be like negative 20 declination. So if we click here on the foot of the water bearer, seems to be a star that's on that place. So apparently I'm not allowed to click any star. Oh, maybe only like known stars or something. Oh, that's fine. Here we see this bright star Stifta of Cetus, the sea monster. It's pretty close to that 20 degree negative or southern declination point, and so we'll find the declination. There we go. It's negative 18 degrees of declination. Okay, so this equatorial grid is giving us declinations and right ascensions. In the downloadable version, although it's not like standard, you have to kind of add it in a tricky way. You can add an ecliptic grid, which shows you longitude and latitude, and that's kind of where we astrologers want to play, because like 9 Gemini is a longitude, 69 degrees celestial longitude, because we always measure from 0 Aries. Just to complete these things, obviously that full screen button is going to take me full screen, and probably if I click it again, I go out. That was true. Night mode, you're really not going to use. That's if you're outside. Well, maybe. I mean, maybe you bring a laptop outside or something and you have this on. It's nice to dim the light so you don't go blind and can connect with the stars. This is software can be used for driving telescopes. Maybe, certainly the full version can be. I'm wondering on the mobile app, like I could hold down on constellations there. No, nothing's happening there. So it looks like we've finished the whole system of menus. Yeah. Actually, the mobile app in some ways is bigger than this. So I will make an instructional video for that one. The mobile app's great too, because you know, with the phone's inbuilt GPS or a tablet, you don't even need to be online. You can wave that thing around and it real time adjusts where you're pointing in the sky. All right, so the last thing here, I guess, is this search function. So let's search like Mercury. And we see Mercury planet, and now it's going to center me on Mercury there. All right, so let's talk about some of the scavenger hunt assignments for week 1, right? One is go to sunset. So we're going to want the atmosphere in here. Let the sun set. So I can open the time box and I can just move through minutes. Probably hours is going to get me there quicker. And what are the first ecliptic stars you see on the western horizon with your naked eye? Now, this is a lot harder to do in the big screen outside where there aren't lines drawn for you, and it's therefore a much better place to go. But if clouds won't allow, or also if you want to kind of confirm what you're seeing out there, this can be a really great resource. Stellarium tends to, let me turn the constellations and the lines off, and I kind of suggest doing this and going back and forth, okay? But they do a decent job, I've found, to kind of show you when in time stars are appearing. And oops, I just went hours ahead. In the full version, you can actually add like light pollution settings and whatnot. So here we are, and the sun has set. I'm noticing one bright star here. That's Fomalhaut. Yeah, Fomalo, the eye of the southern fish. I would guess. It's not letting me click. Yeah, that's one of the royal stars, actually. But I want to stay closer to the ecliptic, and it's showing me the star near Saturn. And it's just not letting me click on those things. Let's see if I can type its name, which is Deneb Algedi. Yeah, okay, so, and then this is Sal Sud, the lucky stars of the water bearer. Sal Sud. Right, let's bring in the constellation lines and we can see, right? And so the game here is, let me rewind an hour. I'll never know what stars the sun is currently traveling through on the big screen outside in reality, right? These softwares can help where they can draw on lines and art and whatnot. But once the sun sets, if I can learn to identify stars like Sal Sud or Deneb Algedi, I thought they were letting me click on them before. Yeah, I guess they just have to be brighter. And I know, or I learned that literally translates to tail of goat, right? That this is along with Nishira, the goat star, the sea goat's tail. It's helpful for me to learn, and this tool is not going to allow us to do so, sadly. The downloadable version does. That these stars are in the late degrees of tropical Aquarius in our day and age. We would need the celestial longitude to see that. I mean, you could go to most astrology softwares like Astro Gold software here, and I can get star lists. These are the 15 Bohemian stars or magical stars of Hermes, and actually Deneb Algedi is one of them. So I can see that at this time, Deneb Algedi had this right ascension, this declination, like 16 south, which Stellarium online version, web version is letting me see 16 south. But this list here at Astro Gold astrology software is also showing me the longitude, right? The celestial longitude. In other words, the tropical zodiac degree. I mean, frankly, like even if this astronomy software was displaying longitude, they wouldn't call that 23 Aquarius 51. They would call that, what would it be? 323 degrees and 51 minutes, 28 seconds, measured from 0 Aries, right? So from 0 Aries, I go 300 degrees to get to 0 Aquarius, and then I add this 2351. So seeing that degree, we would imagine, looking at the chart, that Saturn would be close, right? In fact, here in Astro Gold, I could actually draw that star in there. We would see that But I could also, and you know, let me do this. I'm going to add 2 stars here. This short list will be easy to add. Here's Denebel Jetty now, right? But let me also add Sada Sud. I guess all name stars and a bunch of scrolling. I really don't know that this is how this star is pronounced, Saldo Sud. The lucky stars. Okay, so check this out. Now it's showing them in the same place, right? Same longitude, and Saturn's right there. Well, in Stellarium, yes, Deneb Jetty is super close, okay? Deneb Jetty has a latitude of only 2.5 degrees south. Negative means south, so 2.5 degrees south of the ecliptic plane, which we can see in Stellarium. We cannot see that in Astrogold or astrology charts, right? We just show everything on the ecliptic. Sado Suud is way up here, right? Much further from the ecliptic. I don't see latitude here either. So, I could probably click on Sado Sud and then Chart Explorer. Does that work? Yeah, cool. I can see that it has a latitude of 8 degrees and 37 arc minutes north, positive north. Thanks, Astrogold. So it looks like these stars are exactly conjoined. Okay, sorry, 9 arc minutes away. And they are by longitude, but one is south of the ecliptic plane and close by, while one is much further away and north, you see? So that's one of the tricky things. You're starting to learn the sky and the constellations, right? Not only like where the stars are in the zodiac of your choice. This is the tropical zodiac. But also how far north or south of the ecliptic plane they are. And I really encourage you to kind of focus on stars that are close to the ecliptic plane as you're learning stars like Deneb Jetty or Hydor here. They're calling Hydor Lambda Aquarius. Is that not Hydor? Let's search. Yeah, they don't know about Hydor. Okay, yeah, that star is called Hydor. All right. So one of your assignments is go outside, watch the sunset, see what stars are first to appear in the evening sky, because they're going to show you where the sun will go next. Let's take the ground away. Sun is currently here. It's going to move about 1 degree per day, right? And in about 30 days, it moves through one of the zodiac signs, which are equal divisions of space. The constellations are not. Still, generally speaking, the sun will travel through one of the zodiac constellations in about a month's time, a sunth's time, the 12th of the year. So when we go watch the sunset and then see which stars first appear in the west, we can see where the sun will go next and therefore estimate where it is now. We can also work this in the sunrise sky. I look over here to the east, and then I'm going to move through time to sunrise. And the game is the last stars I can see in the east before the dawn light takes the sky from my eyes. So here I see the Scorpion, right? It's good to play this without the constellation art and lines turned on, right? We want to learn that stars like Spica are close to the ecliptic, Zubanel Janubi, Antares, Dishuba, or Akrab here, they're calling that. I'm just realizing I was naming these backwards in a backyard astronomy video that I made this morning. And by the way, those videos, if your sky's not open, and even if it is, if you want to spend some time, they're going to be super helpful, because I'm like star babbling and journeying around and telling a lot of myths, which can be actually really helpful. We learn some stories of how these stars connect with one another, and that helps us learn the sky too. But I'm naming stars like Antares and saying in our day and age they're at 10 degrees tropical Sagittarius in this case, but 5 degrees south of the ecliptic plane, whatever it may be. Okay, so I'm seeing the Scorpion here. Let's move through minutes. Mercury, I went and saw Mercury this morning, quite visible. And my visibility was not as good as what Stellarium's showing me now, but I did just barely see this star, which is called Caus Borealis. It's one of the stars of the Archer, and it's about 8 degrees tropical Capricorn in our day and age. So that will show me where Mercury is, as Mercury's traveling through those stars, right? If I know where the stars are, and that's like a lifelong learning, right? And then when planets travel through, I can say, okay, well, if that star's 8 Capricorn, this star's 13 Capricorn, then it looks like Mercury's at about 11 Capricorn, right? Like that's the game. But the other thing in what your scavenger hunt assignment number 3 is either look for the stars that first appear after the sun sets in the ecliptic west, because that's where the sun will go next, or see the last stars that you can meet with your eyes before sunrise on the eastern horizon. That's where the sun would have been last. So let me show you that. Let me take the ground away here. And here's the sun in the sea goat. Okay. Well, a month ago, just push back a month, on December 26, 2022, the sun was with the Archer. A month before that, the sun was with the Scorpion. Right, a month before that, the sun was with the Scales. It's not going to be equal months, because not only the sun's speed changed throughout the year, but the bigger deal by far is that the constellations are not equal divisions of space. But here we find the sun at the feet of the priestess, October 26th. There was an eclipse the day before. I go back another month and we find up at Porima, right? So 2 months in the priestess, right? Because the priestess is 47 degrees in arc. Okay. So Stellarium can do a lot for you. Like it can help you learn the stars. It can help you learn the constellations. And it's really helpful to have like this ecliptic plane turned on and just see like, okay, there's the fishes, there's the ram, there's the bull, right? There's the twins and the crab, like that. And then go outside. It's like, oh, wow, Mars. This is certainly not now. You know, they're going to have a real time button. Mars right now is, what was that bright red star out there close to Mars? Go, oh, that's Aldebaran. That's the royal star. Aldebaran, really? Oh, cool. And there's another star in between them. Well, that's Ein, right? That's the other eye of the bull. And such. All right. So happy hunting out there. You know, I'll share about one other scavenger hunt assignment I gave you here, which is just to follow the moon day by day, right? Watch the moon's phase change and watch her traveling through the stars. Well, you know, this is another thing. We could have a simulated experience here on Stellarium. This is January 26th. This is right now. And here's the 27th and 28th, and I see the moon applying to the Pleiades and now right over Mars and etc. Right? So you can use this wonderful tool to complete your scavenger hunt assignments. And look, if the sky's covered in clouds, what else can you do? But please know, like all these invitations I'm offering through these scavenger hunt assignments, there are also like lifelong invitations, right? So if your sky's not open right now, maybe not even during the 5 weeks of this course, you can head outside in a couple months' time, maybe, and the sky will be clear, and you can still do these things even though the sky will have shifted some from now until then, between now and then. All right, enough words from me. See you in space.